Snackarinos. We're tasting blood. Just kidding, we're doing ketchups. It's the Halloween episode. Ketchup is one of my favorite condiments. As a classic Midwesterner, condiments are very high on the scale of needs in the kitchen. There's the ranches, there's different mustards, and at the top of my list is ketchup. Now, I have purchased fancy ketchups before, but I'm usually just buying my favorite grocery store brand, which is Heinz. Today, we're on the hunt for the best ketchup. So Heinz is B Squad. We're looking for A Squad. We have 5 different types of ketchups that we're going to taste test today. And let me tell you, when I was researching this episode, I got scared. Ketchup is a very passionate topic in the food world. I haven't had any of these ketchups. I am so excited. We've got Good Food for Good ketchup. The special thing about this one is that it's sweetened with dates, so date sugar. Whataburger's ketchup, which is apparently a restaurant in the central southern area of the United States. People be going crazy for this ketchup. Never been, never had it. Sort of what I would consider the sleeper, if we end up liking it, is apparently the Polish make amazing ketchup. So we have the #1 touted Polish ketchup, Pudliszki. Recently, I had the luxury of going out to the Pacific Northwest. There's actually a couple of competitive ketchup brands, and we got our hand on Camden's Ketchup. And last but not least, Molonay savory ketchup. All of these were touted as some of the best ketchups on the ketchup forums, and we're going to find out who is on today's episode. To taste ketchups, we're doing what I like to call a poor man's French fry taste test, and we'll be using a lightly salted plain potato chip. If you want to taste ketchups along with me, Sarah Z, links where you can purchase all of these ketchups are in the description below. I'm so excited. First up, we've got Molonay savory ketchup, and we always like to take a good look at the branding. It's got muted, old world colors and a cheeky old man with a cigar in his mouth. Or a hot dog, I don't know. Right out of the bottle here, it's a glass bottle, so you know it's fancy. It's a very deep red coloring of the ketchup. Very thick. It's not watery at all. Interesting. This has a sweet, vinegar-forward flavor. It reminds me of, just vinegar-forward is what I would say. Sweet, vinegar-forward. Probably apple cider vinegar, if I had to guess, because of that. And some kind of herb that I can't put my nose or my tongue on, but I do like it. It's very unique. Or just imagine that this is a British man and that this is a British ketchup. And I don't know what British ketchups are like. I'm going to take a stab, and I think the flavor that I'm tasting is mixed with other herbs is celery seed. But made in Los Angeles, so here in the USA, Molonay savory ketchup, sweet and vinegar forward. Very interesting. Very good. Next up is Camden's Ketchup, and it's made in Portland, Oregon, so here in the US. It says it has a little bit of a kick. As you can see, it is a bright cherry red, and it's very thick, so not watery at all. Sticks to the chip perfectly. Ooh, okay. It does have a little kick. What did you do, Camden's? This one has white vinegar and jalapeno in it. It definitely is more savory. That jalapeno, the flavor, is actually pretty apparent. It does leave a nice lingering spice underneath. That's probably why people like it so much. I think the spicy factor these days is really important. The vinegar is there, the flavor. This is definitely a very vinegary ketchup. It's a different vinegar than Molonay, the last ketchup. This is a white vinegar. Molonay had apple cider vinegar, and you can tell the difference for sure. White vinegar is a little bit more bitter, in my opinion. And so this one is a spice, jalapeno, white vinegar forward ketchup. Next up, we have Pudliszki, the Polish ketchup, the sleeper ketchup, I hope. Comes in a container very similar to the classic grocery store containers. So the squeezy plastic bottle. It's a little bit smoother and a little bit runnier than the last two ketchups. Smells like tomatoes. Very mellow. There is something interesting about it. Like if you gave me this and told me that it was Heinz, I'd be like, I don't think so, fella. After a couple of additional tastes, I'm going to categorize this as like a Heinz or a Hunt's, but elevated flavors. The tomato flavor is pretty strong in this. So I think sometimes like the everyday ketchup, the Hunt's and the Heinz, if you will, they don't have that strong of a tomato flavor. It's like a very mild blend of all the things that are in it. Like the vinegar, the spice, whatever spice. But this is very tomato forward, and I think that's what I like about it. So pretty good, but definitely closer to those everyday ketchups. Now, Whataburger is a restaurant, and I think it's super duper when restaurants have a condiment that people beg for and want them to bottle, much like Taco Bell's taco sauce, which is unique in its own right. They bottle it, and you can buy it. I've never been to a Whataburger, so I've never had this ketchup, but I can tell you that it comes in a container similar to the household ketchups. It is very smooth, like a household ketchup. Probably the most liquidy or watery to date, although it does have a nice grasp on the chip. I'm looking for what would make this unique. Has sort of like a coppery flavor. If you told me that this was Heinz, which is my everyday ketchup, I would believe you. There's nothing particularly unique about this. That copper or that bright, tangy flavor, the vinegar, is very apparent. It doesn't have a tomato forward flavor at all. If you're not a ketchup freak and you just like the household ketchups, this might be just a tiny step up above them. All in all, pretty good, but not super unique. All right, on to our last ketchup of the day. Good food for good ketchup. This comes in the smallest container of all of the ketchups today. Glass, fancy. And it's very thick, like you would imagine a homemade ketchup to be. It's the darkest, the brownest color of all the ketchups. Pretty thick, spicy smell. Whoa. I'm not sure exactly how to pinpoint this flavor. I would say that it is very savory. I know that this one is different than all the rest in that it's using dates to sweeten it, but the spice level and the savoriness, it almost would be the perfect thing to bake on top of a meatloaf because the savory factor is like an 8 or 9 out of 10. It's not bad. It's not overly sweet, but it doesn't have that vinegary zing that I'm looking for when I want to have ketchup. I mean, I will eat potato chips or french fries or anything just so that I can eat ketchup. Like ketchup is the main goal sometimes of some of my snacking sessions. So I just need something to eat it with. I don't think that I could sit and eat this for very long. The savoriness is overpowering the vinegar zing, which I think is what makes ketchup so special. So this is good. I wouldn't call it ketchup. I would call it something else, and I would market it differently. Well, folks, I have to say that I take this job very seriously, not only for you so that you know what to buy and not to buy, but for me, so that every time I eat, it is the most delightful. And this was super tough for me because I love ketchup so much. I can't pick one winner today. I absolutely cannot. What I can do is tell you when I think my top 3 should be enjoyed. First off, Molonay's. Molonay's has a really interesting savory undertone. The only thing that I can equate it to is like the ketchup for fall. It's got a little bit of spice, that apple cider vinegar, something you find in recipes more in the fall. It's got that nice sweetness, but it's definitely vinegar forward. They're calling it savory, and it is. This is your fall ketchup. Next up, we've got Camden's. This is a delicious vinegar forward ketchup, but most importantly, it's got a little spicy undertone. So if you want a little kick when you're enjoying your ketchup, Camden's. Last but not least, I was hoping it was a sleeper, and it is. Pudliszki. This ketchup is Tomato City. It tastes amazing, and it's vinegar forward. If you're looking for a step up from the everyday grocery store ketchup, I'm going to recommend you go out and get yourself a bottle of Pudliszki. If you have a favorite ketchup that you're passionate about, make sure you put it in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it. And make sure you like and subscribe so that you know when we're doing another taste test here on Snackarinos. See you later, alligators, and happy Halloween!